In this story, I will tell you how my husband's friend changed my life in a way I never could have imagined. What began as a simple friendly conversation ended in an uncontrollable attraction, leading me to question everything I considered safe and stable. Join me as I reveal how a moment of weakness transformed my life forever. Hello everyone. Before I dive into this story filled with intense emotions and difficult decisions, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any of the exciting stories I have in store for you. Without further ado, let's get started. I had been married to Julian for 7 years. Our life together was stable and happy, or at least it seemed that way on the surface. As time passed, the spark that once defined our relationship slowly faded. Routine wrapped around us like a heavy blanket, making me feel secure, but at the same time, restless. Despite the affection we still had for each other, there was something missing. A sense of emptiness that I didn't know how to fill. I never imagined that this dissatisfaction would lead me to make such a monumental mistake. One night, Julian organized a dinner at our home with some of his college friends, people he saw occasionally, but always in a cordial manner. Among them was Alvaro, a close friend of Julian's, someone who had always seemed pleasant and friendly to me, but whom I had never thought of beyond that. That night, everything changed. During the dinner, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed Alvaro's company. We sat across from each other, starting off with trivial topics, as we always had. However, soon the conversation took a deeper, more personal turn. I found myself sharing thoughts and feelings I hadn't expressed in a long time, not even to Julian. With each word, I realized I was too interested in him, more than I should have been. The worst part was that Alvaro seemed to feel the same. Our glances met more frequently, and every time they did, an uncomfortable tingling coursed through my body. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't look away from him. Something about his presence made me feel alive in a way I hadn't experienced in years. After dinner, while Julian took care of saying goodbye to the other guests, Alvaro and I stayed in the living room, talking quietly. The atmosphere between us changed completely. What had once been casual conversation turned intimate, charged with a tension we could no longer ignore. He made a flattering remark that, although disguised as courtesy, carried a deeper intention. I was taken aback, but what surprised me most was my response. In that moment, I knew I was crossing a dangerous line. I knew I should pull away, that I had to remember that Alvaro was not only an attractive man but also my husband's best friend. But the attraction was too strong, and when he took my hand, I knew I had already gone too far. We agreed to meet the next day in a discreet location, away from prying eyes. Guilt flooded me even before we met. I knew I was betraying Julian, but a part of me refused to stop. It was as if a part of me desperately sought something I had lost, and Alvaro offered it to me. We met at a small cafe outside the city. What should have been a conversation to clarify things quickly turned into something more. The ambience was intimate, and the conversation, which initially felt tense, filled with repressed emotions and desires we had both ignored for so long. When he kissed me, I knew there was no turning back. The passion I felt was overwhelming, something I hadn't experienced in years. For a moment, I forgot everything else, my life, my marriage, my conscience. But, as it always happens, reality soon caught up with me. When it was over, guilt hit me like a giant wave. I had betrayed Julian in the worst way possible. I knew I could never look at Alvaro the same way again, and that I would never be able to see my husband without feeling the weight of what I had done. I hurriedly said goodbye to Alvaro, realizing that this secret would have to remain hidden forever. That night taught me a painful lesson about the consequences of giving in to temptation. I learned that while the thrill of the moment can be overwhelming, it's not worth sacrificing a relationship built on love and trust for a fleeting moment of weakness. Now, I am more committed than ever to strengthening my marriage, to reconnecting with Julian, and to never losing sight of what truly matters in life. Although I carry the guilt within me, I have decided to focus on what we still have and what we can regain together. I've learned that no matter how tempting an easy way out may be, deep and sincere relationships require effort and dedication.